Hey guys, today we are going to be making I am going to be making a blackberry cheesecake. The reason we're making a blackberry cheesecake is because Ed Taylor from work, thank you Ed, gave us some blackberries, and there's a good solid 2 cups, if not more, of blackberries here. So we said, what can we make with blackberries besides cobbler? Because cobblers, I don't really care for cobbler that much, so we said cheesecake. We love cheesecake. So Tana found a recipe from the Pioneer Woman, which she said is pretty well known as far as making recipes that she has cookbooks and stuff out. So she will put a link down below in the comment section or in the description. So I just wanted to go through the ingredients you need to make it. You do need some ingredients, but it's not like overwhelmingly a lot. One thing you will need is some kind of food processor or a blender or something to blend up the vanilla wafers and the pecans. You will need something like that. Some way you can crush up those cookies. If you can make them bomb, crushed, whatever way you gotta get it that way, you do have to crush those, so just know that. So we need a whole box of vanilla wafers. We just buy the Nabisco Nella wafers. You need a ½ cup of pecans, and these are the chopped ones, but they'll work fine. You need 1 stick or a ½ cup of butter, and we'll melt this. You need a ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract. That's for the crust. For the filling, you're going to need 3 packages of cream cheese. We just buy the Kroger brand. Walmart brand's just as good. You need a ½ cup of sugar, which we have back in the back. You need 4 whole eggs. These are, I think, large or extra large eggs. You need a ½ cup of sour cream, and any kind of sour cream will work. We probably could have even gotten the fat-free kind. It would have been fine too. That's for the filling. And then for the topping, you need 2 cups of blackberries, another ½ cup of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of water. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing you do is you kind of get the crust, the vanilla wafers, and the pecans going. So I'm going to get my food processor, get some of the stuff out of the way, and I'll be right back. So the first thing you're going to do, preheat your oven to 350. Get your spring-form pan. If you don't have a spring-form pan, I've never heard of making cheesecake in any other kind of pan. So I don't know if you can make it in any other kind of pan, but get a spring-form pan. They don't really cost that much if you don't have one. Go to Walmart and buy one. They're fine. They're non-stick, most of them are. They have a little spring that opens the side up. Get you one. So you need one of these. This is a 10-inch one, which is what it calls for. And then you'll need your 1 stick of butter, and your ½ teaspoon of vanilla, and your pecans, and your box vanilla wafers, and your food processor, okay? So get your food processor ready. I've just got my chopping blade in here right now. So I'm gonna dump my pecans in here. Dump the whole thing in there. A ½ cup of them. I'm gonna dump all my vanilla wafers in there, the whole box. I use that box for color. And then put my lid on. And before I do it, I'm going to pulse this to where it basically kind of gets crumbles. You want to turn it to crumbs, and then that's it. You don't want to pulverize it till it's powder, but you want to get crumbs. So I'm just going to use the pulse function. The cookies always stick in the lid up here. I don't know why. Get out there. Get out there, cookie. All right, let me do it one more time. It looks pretty good and crummy, but crummy. It's pretty crummy. Yeah, now see that to me looks like good crumb. So that's where I'm gonna leave it at. So you're gonna take that and you're gonna mix your, you're gonna put your melted butter and the vanilla in here. I'm just gonna kind of pour it around. And we just microwave this, we just put it in the bowl in a microwave, and that melts it pretty good. And my ½ teaspoon of vanilla. And then it says to pulse it again until it's all incorporated or mixed in. So you can see it kind of getting thick at the bottom. And this is pretty much all we're going to use that for. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to put this back. And we're going to press this in the bottom of our spring-form pan. So I'm just going to dump it all in there. So I've got it just poured in the pan, and I'm gonna push this out. And it says if it goes up, if it comes up the side, that's okay. Ashley has learned the lesson that you really want it to go up the side some because it makes it so much easier to come out. And if you think about it, most cheesecakes come up the side a little bit at least, maybe not all the way to the very, very top, but at least come up about maybe halfway to 2/3 of the way up. So I'm just gonna kind of mash this in really good. It smells good. It actually smells like almost like a graham cracker crust, honestly, even though I know it's vanilla wafers, but it smells really, really good. Maybe a little too high. I just use my hand and mash it down really good. We want to get it good and compressed in there though, because if you don't, when you try to slice it, it falls apart on you. So you really want to get it good and pressed in there. So the next thing we're going to do is the filling. So I'm going to finish compressing this, and then I'm going to get my ingredients ready for the filling, and then I'll be back. Hey, one little thing before I go on. The crust mixture, I had to actually put it in the food processor and mix it again because it needed 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, not just half. So it's 1.5 teaspoons. So I literally got it back out, mixed it back up, pressed it back in the pan. It's fine. So now I'm going to do the filling. So you need your 3 8-ounce containers of cream cheese. I'm just going to go ahead and drop those in there, and I'll use my vanilla wafer box as garbage. About drop that in the floor. You didn't see that though. Just delete that from your memory. And then I need 1.5 cups, and I made sure I looked at it really good this time. It is 1.5 cups of sugar. So I've got 1/2 cup measuring cup, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it in 1/2 cup intervals. And then you mix it until, or beat it until it's smooth. Now I'm going to scrape down the sides and mix it some more. Okay, it's all mixed up, so now I'm going to turn on like a medium-low speed, and you add 1 egg at a time. It's the whole egg too. I'm just using the box's garbage again, and I'm just gonna beat it after each one. I get it mixed in a little bit and then turn it high so it won't fling egg all over Tammy. And if you're not comfortable about your egg breaking abilities and getting shells in it, you can always break them into a bowl and then slowly pour them in one at a time too. The last one, 4 eggs. Okay, I'm just going to scrape down the sides, and then I'm going to add my sour cream and mix it one more time. Okay, scrape down the sides. Now I'm just going to add my 1/2 cup of sour cream, and then I'm going to mix it really good because you want it really good and creamy in there. And while that's mixing, I'm going to grab my crust and bring it over here so I'll have it ready. Okay, it looks pretty beat to me. So, and when I raise this up, if it comes off, if it mostly runs off, that looks pretty good to me. So, no. And this is going into your crust. And we did stick this in the refrigerator just for the few minutes it took to make the filling, just to let it like firm up a little bit. But you're going to take this mixture and just put it into your crust. And see how creamy it is? There's not really any chunks of that sour cream or the cream cheese left. You want it really good and creamy. Might be a few little lumps in the bottom, but it's okay. And then it says to smooth it out. I'm actually glad the crust went up a little bit because once we bake this, that fruit topping is going to go on the top, and I think it'll fill up really nicely to the top. So now that that's pretty smooth, you take it and you put it in your 350-degree oven for 1 hour and 10 minutes. And then once it's done, I'll show you what you do then, but let me give you a little preview. You turn off your oven, open the door, and allow it to sit in your oven for another 15 minutes, and then you can take it out and let it cool completely. I guess it's to let it settle because you don't want to move it around while it's first finished baking, let it cool off a little bit. So I'm gonna get this in the oven. I'll show you that step when we get there. Okay, turn your oven off. If I can remember how to turn it off. Turn your oven off, and you just crack your oven. It says open it, but we've got a cat and a dog, so we really don't want. Do you open it all the way?
We don't open it all the way. Ashley puts a wooden spoon in the door.
Oh no, I would just open it like this.
Oh my.
It raised.
Oh my. Is that even okay?
Yeah, it's raised up.
Yeah,
what we've noticed is, if you look on that pan at the bottom, there's butter all through there. And I think because our springform pan, I think that pan is leaking around the gaps in the bottom, so all the butter in the crust is like running out of the crack. I think we just need to buy a new one that seals better.
Okay.
So that's what all that liquid is. You probably can't see it, but there's liquid all in that pan right there. It's butter from that crust. But yeah, it raised quite a bit.
How
Looks
are
really
you
good.
going to be able to pour the blueberry over top of that if it's like that? I've never seen one like that.
I don't know.
I don't either. That's interesting. I don't think the Pioneer Woman's look like that.
Well, I did it exactly as you said.
You did.
So,
No, I think it'll be okay if you leave it propped open.
So you have to leave this open for 15 minutes. Just let it kind of let the air out, cool off naturally. Then you take it out. Like I said, I think it has to settle, and it might flatten out a little bit. It might drop a little bit. I don't know.
Okay.
So it has to sit for 15 minutes. You take it out and then put it on a cooling rack and then let it cool. Once I pull it out and put it on the cooling rack, then I'll start doing the topping. Okay, it's been 15 minutes, and you can see it did definitely collapse a little bit, so to speak. So I'm going to put this right here, and we're going to let that cool. Because I have a feeling that if you had taken that right out, you would have really made it collapse and completely destroyed it. Now it's just going to firm up a little bit. So while that's sitting out and cooling, I'm going to get started on the topping. So I measured out 2 cups of blackberries. These are just blackberries that Ed Taylor gave us. So I'm just going to put it in a saucepan. And then it takes half a cup of sugar. Hopefully I don't drop sugar everywhere. And then 2 tablespoons of water. So let me get the water and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to turn my pan on to medium high. In this case, it's going to be on about a 6.5 or 7 or so. And basically just let it sit and you let it come to a boil.
You added your water.
Oh, I did add my 2 tablespoons of water. Yeah, that's where all the liquid's coming from in there. But you basically let it boil. And then once it starts boiling, you let it boil for 4 to 5 minutes longer until it kind of becomes a thick syrup. And then once it becomes a thick syrup, you're just going to kind of let it set for just like 5 minutes to cool off. And then we're going to pour it on the cheesecake. And then we're going to put the whole cheesecake in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours. She actually says several hours is better. Ours will probably sit overnight. We'll probably try it tomorrow. And then you're ready to take the springform pan apart and try it out. So I'm going to stop talking and let Tammy just probably speed this up a little bit. She can put it in fast motion and make things boil in much faster time than in reality. It's been doing this for about 5 minutes now, and it's getting a little thicker. I'm hoping it'll thicken up even more when I take it off. So I'm going to take it off the burner. Turn that off so nobody burns themselves. And you can still see there's still some hunks of blackberry in there. What you do is you let this cool off for like 5 minutes or so. so it thickens up a little bit, and then we'll come back and put it over top of the cheesecake. And it's been about 5 or 6 minutes, and it's a little thicker, but it's still pretty soft, but it's still very, very hot. I mean, there's still steam coming off of it. So I'm going to pour this over the top. I put this on a plate just because it's going to be sitting in the refrigerator. The bottom has butter on it. Like I said, I think my pan is leaking butter from the crust. I think it leaks from the cracker on the bottom, so I need to get another one that seals better. Because we've made, I couldn't even tell you how many cheesecakes here like we've made. What I worry about is it's going to be too much of this blackberry stuff. I guess you want it on there pretty thick. I mean, do you really want more than that?
How much more is left? Oh, quite a bit. Why don't you get the hunks, parts. Right, get the hunks out and leave some of that juice in there.
Yeah, because the juice, I mean, it will thicken up into a syrup.
Right, but I think just hunks and leave the juice.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It is thicker than it was. So it looks really good. It smells good. That's all I think I'm going to do. I'll lay this over here in the sink. So that's it. And so we're going to put it in the refrigerator again. 2 hours, a bare minimum 2 hours. You really want it to sit up longer, like multiple hours. Overnight's even better. So I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator, and tomorrow, for you, a few seconds. For us, tomorrow we'll try it out. All right, 7 minutes, and it looks really good. Idea what it looks like. So to take it out of the pan, what you do, it looks pretty loose from the side. If it looked like it was stuck, I would take a little butter knife and run it around the edges, but it looks pretty good. So you're just going to release this and push it over, and you see it expands out the outside, and take it off. And you've still got it smells good. You've still got the metal thing at the bottom, so what you have to do is you have to fight to get that off. Now, some people will put parchment paper in the bottom of them, and it just slides right over the parchment paper. We've never done that, so Alright, it said to cut it with a serrated knife. All I have, I think this is a bread knife, but it's serrated, so it's sure. The deal is you want to kind of saw at it. You don't want to really like press down on it. That's all the way through. I tell you what, I'm just going to slice for us right now. I'm gonna make it pretty tiny though. That looks cool if you look inside there. Okay, we're here to actually try the cheesecake. So we got our forks. You go ahead and take it first.
And we have a small piece because it's not dessert time for us. We will save actual dessert for later.
And I haven't eaten a blackberry and I couldn't even tell you how long.
There are seeds in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're blackberries. That's really good and sweet.
That's very good, yes.
I want to see what the cheesecake by itself just
I know, like. Just the crust. Because he used those Nella wafers.
I want to just see what the crust and it's just the cheesecake by itself.
Yeah, because you said you could make this using any berry,
yeah.
Right?
That's good cheesecake by itself. It's not a super sweet cheesecake, but it is a good cheesecake. Yeah, that's good. Mm. Yeah, the recipe says you can use any berry. So you could use cherries or strawberries or blueberries or anything. These, like I said, Ed Taylor gave us the blackberries, so we wanted to try some of the blackberries. I think if I were to do it again, I'd probably do cherries. Because I like cherries a lot. I like
the cheesecake itself, too.
Yeah, so you could actually make this cheesecake, but pretty much you could put anything on top of it. You could put Oreos in there.
It could be a plain cheesecake.
Mm-hmm. But those blackberries definitely add a berry sweetness to it that you would have missing without without it.
Right.
So
yeah,
overall, really good
very
recipe.
Good. Did you think it was hard?
No. That's so good. This recipe wasn't bad at all. It was actually pretty easy. I mean, the overall, the crust involved a food processor. That's probably the biggest downfall for it. If you don't have some way to grind up the cookies and stuff, you would have a hard time doing it.
The pecans.
I'm wondering if they don't sell those in the baking aisle. I'm thinking they do sell ground up vanilla wafers. I could be wrong, but you could probably do graham crackers if you really wanted to and not add the nuts to them. Just do graham crackers and the butter, and you probably wouldn't even need the vanilla. You could do that same recipe with just the graham cracker, crumbled up graham crackers.
For people who can't eat nuts.
Yeah, or you don't have a food processor to grind up cookies.
Right.
So you could probably substitute the graham crackers. It'd probably be as sweet, if not, well, it'd be as sweet at least. The filling was super easy. You just had to make sure you really whipped up your cream cheese and made sure it was really, really creamy, because you don't want any chunks of cream cheese in here.
Right.
And it doesn't make it creamy inside. You want it to be moist and smooth. So you have to make sure you let it just go and let it look like cake frosting.
Right.
But overall, it's pretty easy. I mean, it only had, what, 4 ingredients in the filling?
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. And this was our first, of course, I didn't make it. I just filmed it. But this was our first experience with doing anything by the Pioneer Woman.
Right.
And that was delicious.
Very good.
It's very, very good, very flavorful, very tasty. So we would definitely seek out more recipes.
Yep.
And that was online. It was completely free. I didn't have to buy a book to get it or anything. So hopefully you all enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.